All right, guys, welcome to another Daily Legends Poker Challenge. This time between me and Apestyles. Apestyles doesn't need an introduction, and he's streaming all the time, so he doesn't get one. Looking forward to it, John. Looking forward to battling. We're supposed to have a prop bet. I don't know what you want to bet. We can figure it out today if you want to put something on the line. Go ahead. What are you laughing about? What are you laughing about?
I was like, let's keep the prop bet low since I've already busted half my stacks.
Sure. You want to bet 10,000? I mean, I have some good information now, so we can increase the size of the bet. No, I'm just joking.
I will bet you 10,000 pennies.
Yeah. What do you want to do? Do you want to just? We can do subs for the channel.
All right,
call.
buddy. All right, buddy. 100 subs.
100 subs? Sure, sounds good.
Yeah. Got to make it a little spicy.
Got to make it spicy, no doubt.
And you know what? I actually feel like it's fair now. You know, now that I have a little bit of a chip disadvantage, it's fair.
Oh wow! I see what you did there. Yeah, very, very cool. Very nice of you.
Thank you. You're welcome. I'm a kind of person. That's what I'm known as.
Yeah, you actually are known as a kind person. Everybody's like, this guy's a sweetheart. I'm like, you guys don't know him very well, do you? Exactly.
Oh my gosh, I'll be right back. Sure. Shortening like COVID or Corona to yo, it's been Rona season, bro. I can't. Don't do it. Don't make COVID sound fun. It's been
sure.
the Rona. What are you thinking about? Oh, sorry.
I mean, I'm in position, so I'm thinking about calling. I think that positionally, it's not that bad to call. You could disagree, but I mean, big blind versus UTG, I feel like flat at 40 is not the worst. I'm not surprised that Villain's bladed. I do think that he's going to have a wider 3-bet value, wider 3-bet calling range, but I don't know if it extends to unpaired hands. So I was thinking about flatting, but then you're like, what are you thinking about? I'm like, oh, fuck it. I jammed. But
that was a huge mistake on my end. I won't do that like that. I was just
I'll be honest. I've got a pretty solid strategy, but it's just in the sense solid in the sense I'm convinced of what I'm doing. But that's how close decisions are, right? Someone says something even just small like that, and it's just yeah, whatever, fuck it. It's crazy, right? It's crazy how.
But the thing is, I just said, what are you thinking about? I didn't necessarily say what are you thinking about? Or maybe
you did. There was some attitude in the what are you thinking about? Don't act like there was no attitude in the what. You could ask the chat.
I was curious about it. I was curious about what you were thinking about, actually. I
think at 40, it's probably just jam for what it's worth. I don't know. I have to check the charts, but that's what I was thinking about. I was thinking EP versus big blind. If we were at 60 or 80, I think it's for sure call a bunch. I say for sure, but I mean I think it's call a bunch.
With expanded calling range, 3-bet call range?
Yeah, exactly. I don't know if the expanded 3-bet call range is going to include unpaired hands, but I think with an expanded 3-bet call range, you'd probably 4-bet more.
Oh, don't you think that with an expanded 3-bet call range that would probably include
King, Queen,
I'm actually not sure how wide it should be. Because I'm not so sure how wide it should be. I'm assuming most people aren't that expanded, but I wonder how expanded it should be. Should we have a Queen Jack suited there, or a King Queen suited with definitely not Queen Jack suited, but King Queen suited I could see.
Yeah, I could see King Queen suited too. I could see King Queen suited, Ace Queen suited. I don't really think that I wouldn't expect Ace Queen offsuit to be there, but maybe it's there. I don't know.
It'd probably it would be a slam.
Yeah, that sounds much better. I agree with that. Yeah, that sounds more like something you'd see. Anyways, so that's what I was thinking about. I mean, I think shoving's very good in standard, but I was actually thinking about calling, which I don't think is stupid, just because I don't really expect King Queen suited or Ace Queen suited to be there very often.
I think there's some truth to it in some professions, but for me, I guess like I had some life leaks that led me to I actually had some problems with alcohol and drugs that made me have some life leaks that I went busto like 8 years ago. So I did start coaching because I wanted to be able to plan my income, but it didn't take long for me to see the benefits of coaching, and also for like lots and lots of business and opportunities to come in through that. And I started realizing that I enjoyed it. I enjoyed helping people as well. Throughout that time, though, I've been like, I have made millions from poker in the last 8 years. So, yeah, it's just not true, right? Like I'm out here in the streets playing. So,
I don't think it's true at all, but I still wanted to answer it. So,
yeah, for sure. I think that like in like sort of like academia and stuff that might be somewhat true, or I don't even know, but those that can't do
I think there's just like there's a lot of like scam coaching on YouTube, right? Like there's like a lot of like I think it's just like very prevalent. So I think people get kind of accustomed to that reality, which is that like people will like there'll be some course that leads to another course that leads to another course that promises you to learn how to make millions of dollars, and like the mechanism that this guy's using to make millions of dollars is teaching all of you how to make millions of dollars when he has no fucking clue how to do it himself. So like that exists in that setting, but I think that like one of the primary criteria to be eligible for being a successful poker coach and like actually having credibility is that you have to do something. Like you have to like win, and like it's really simple because the game is how you get the success. Like there's no like other way.
Yeah.
So
like over the last 8, oh, did I cut you off, man?
No, you're good. You're good.
Yeah, I was just like, over the last 8 years, I didn't advertise coaching or like for like the first 5 years, I didn't even advertise or anything like that. Like people came to me because I was winning. Like it's the best advertisement is your results, right? I remember I went to the gym one time, and I know one time I went to the gym, and there was a guy, a trainer, and I shit you not, he was eating Cheetos, following around a client, like, and he was kind of like not in very good shape, and I'm like, yo, how
does this make sense?
Like, yeah, like I refuse. Like part of why I would get a trainer would always be to like to feel inspired and motivated, right? So, Busto, the Gladiator, we are one tabling now to BBZ coaching.
Yeah, I'm gonna have to randomize this again. I think I'm gonna have to randomize this one. This is a really good hand to call off, but I don't think this guy's bluffing based on his timing. So we're just gonna randomize it off, and we get to fold this time. Well, I mean, I agree with your assessment that it's more dangerous to check raise in that format. So I might have check called the flop for the similar reasons. Now I might have check raised the flop too, because I think you have to do both. But that still might have led me to check call the flop. And then as far as leading the turn small goes, I do lead the turn small in that situation sometimes, but I probably would have led smaller if I had led the turn there. But because I think that I'm not sure that that's a good enough card to lead a lot. And one of the things that I've tested is
if it's not
when you go ahead.
Go ahead though. No. I don't want to contradict you or like finish your statement before.
Oh yeah, I'll go through how I think about it, and then you can just tell me like what you've figured out that you think's different or wrong or whatever. So one of the things that I've seen in my testing is that like when you have a low frequency lead spot that's a mix, when you particularly on the turn, if you just rerun that with a smaller size, then the lead frequency can get to 100% and it can simplify. I'm not saying that's the case there, but it happens enough that I don't think that that's like a strong enough turn card for like really high frequency lead unless you lead smaller.
So that'd be an argument
for.
So
I would have. Well, you could do that. You could do that and then kind of resign to leading less, or you could lead smaller and the frequency goes through the roof. I would have not chosen the middling sizing because for me it's really hard to play those like 20% leads
For like, I thought. I mean, to me, that's not really middling. That's like in the like I view somewhere between 10 and 20% as tiny category. I thought because it wasn't actually like 100% lead that it would, like I chose more 20%. But like I am like the 10% lead guy. Like that's like my thing. I kind of got it from George actually, but let's see.
One of the things that emerged also from my work with the trainers was that like like if you putting out even with leads, like if you're putting out bets that are too small, like there can be like substantial EV costs if like you're supposed to be like betting bigger like a lot. Like and obviously that's true, but it's harder to get that right in the like more complicated spots. So like in that one. So I would, like I said, I would have led smaller, but I think your play's fine. I just don't think that it's. I wouldn't have thought it was a high frequency lead if to 25 if I chose 25%. So I would have chosen smaller because I do think it's a turn that's good for you, but again, just like not good enough. Good enough for me. So like just for like so people
that I'm not gonna, I'm not gonna actually. I think that my hand goes in there regardless if it's high frequency or low frequency. So like it's gonna be like my hand is gonna be one of the hands that does that, in my opinion. But maybe, yeah. I think that like I agree with the argument you're making. Although I do think that there are also spots where your range for leading turn is gonna be quite polar, and based on the fact that you have some stuff that they don't, and you can bet bigger as well in a few of those spots. I thought it was because it wasn't like a four was pretty good, and I think sevens are pretty. What cards do you think are best for out of position after check calling?
All right, guys, I'm super excited to be bringing you my man Way's cash game bundle on BBZPoker.com. Way is someone who's actually taught me a lot. He's actually really helped with my understanding of some things that I thought I knew and showed me where I was making quite a few mistakes. So if he's able to turn my game around in a few spots, I think he'll be absolutely incredible for you guys. I've watched the entire bundle from start to finish. I think it's one of the best organized bundles on BBZPoker.com. I think it's an incredibly powerful piece of content for professional poker players and amateurs alike. In fact, I think it's probably even stronger for beginning and amateur players than it is for professional players, and I couldn't be happier. So head over to BBZPoker.com and go get Way's bundle.
Well, see, like I kind of view those spots where you get to bet like 100%, like the ones that are very good, as almost like little like equity nudges. Like they're just like, oh, this is just a good card for my range. I'm gonna put a little bit extra in here. And that's not really what I was thinking about in that spot, but like it'll be interesting to see. I wish that I want to sim with sizings, but I wouldn't be surprised if you're right. And if you're hedging in a way, like your mistake's not going to be that big when you bet really small, because like I'm like, oh man, like when it comes to like my river, like 10% of pot bets, it's like, oh well, the solver didn't choose that. Well, like what's the EV difference? Can't be much, you know.
Yeah, sure.
Oh my gosh. Got a good spot, but I don't have the table. Oh yeah. Okay, this is scary now too, but yeah. In general, okay, so I got these guys covered, this guy covered. Maybe I can open a little wider than usual. I'm not sure. Oh my gosh! I just did that. That was supposed to be an open. That was supposed to be an open. Wow. Oh my gosh! I haven't done this in a very long time. Oh, we're so live.
Oh,
There you go. There you go.
I'm, so... I'm sorry. That was really bad.
I figured you were gonna say something.
Like, well, no, just because like that's something that like I find pretty bad. But like, you know, you're someone that looks at the business aspect of things, and I figured that wouldn't bother you as much. Why does that bother you?
No, yeah, it's terrible. Like it's just too much. Like it's too much. Like there's a balance, and I just don't feel like he strikes the balance very well. I think he just like, which is fine. Like, you know, it's not like I know where the line is, but it just feels like he's on the wrong side of it, in my opinion, when I read his books or like look at his content or whatever.
Yeah. It's funny because one of the best questions I ever received while streaming was, "Are you GTO or are you bluff?" And I would say that I'm bluff and Jordan's GTO. No, Jordan's bluff too. Jordan is definitely bluff.
Yeah, we both redline in it a little bit.
Yeah,
we both are like, this is supposed to be good, and we'll just push it just a little further.
Exactly. Okay. Bounty. But like I actually think, and that's just like a note to self. I think when I first I get excited by things that are different. And when I first looked at PO, one of the things that was big time different was like these giant overbets. And I think I get excited by them and try to look like almost overlook for spots for them, but it actually makes no sense in MTTs because there's like a utility thing where, you know, you probably want to err to the side of not going all in on average, right? So that you can just like continue chipping a chair. And I think I have a little too much of a bias towards going all in, and that's something I've been looking at and trying to tweak a little bit. So that was the other thing, right? Is that like in order for you to have that 3x pot size, like I would think that you would need some like the villain can have 3 combos of aces, 1 combo of pocket sevens, and then like I think there was maybe 1 combo ace-7 suited. I'm not sure. And I think that maybe the villain can have me beat a little too often for that to be an all-in or a 3x pot.
Yeah, the other thing is that like it's because you're in the big blind, right, in the hand. So
yeah,
you have to be. It's much like one of the things about no limit hold'em, which is why I gave you an in position example, and you're in an out of position scenario. Is it's much more difficult out of position. I know that that's difficult to understand because like it doesn't really matter in a toy game. In a toy game, like it does, but it doesn't matter in like in like the classic toy game example that we always talk about. Like if you have the polarized range and you bet all in, if the other guy has a polarized range and he bets all in, and like position won't matter. But that's not really true. And the reason that's not really true is because in no limit hold'em, because you have a like in actual play, if you build the range even kind of linearly, then what the out of position player has to do is very different from what the in position player has to do. The out of position player has to protect all of the other ranges, right? So the in position player gets to take 100% of the nut combo weighting and put it into shove. And there's no consequences for that. If you have the nuts and your opponent can't have the nuts, right? And you start to get to some situations where there can be consequences, like where the consequences aren't great if you do that as at full weight. Let me rephrase that actually. If your opponent has very modest weightings on the nuts, because if it's purely asymmetric, it won't matter. But if your opponent has very modest weightings on the strongest hands, then you'll need to split the nuts up from out of position. Where if you're the in position player, you get to put them in a full weighting shove. So the fact that you have to protect like a bet small strategy at least sometimes, and protect a checking range at least sometimes, makes it more challenging. So. Especially when it goes check on the turn and you didn't bet the turn. So, yeah, I don't know. I think it's a difficult situation for 3x pot. Like, I think it's a more difficult situation.
Yeah,
Difficult's
exactly.
the wrong language, but just more difficult.
I think the problem with that board is that I think usually turn check does mean cap, but not on paired boards in that spot.
Yeah,
If
not
you're
when like the
actually,
board three
like-
flushes either. Like if the nuts comes
Yeah.
in, then it's different, right? Like you've
Mhm.
got to respect the fact that like they will have
Mhm.
traps. Whereas if the board just presents threats to the nuts but doesn't actually present the nuts yet, then they're capped when they check.
Mhm.
Right? I mean, obviously you know that, but I mean, like I'm also trying to like we're streaming, so
Oh yeah. It's interesting, you know, we both, you know, we're both teachers more than we get coached, and and we both, you know, are used to it's like we often arrive at the same conclusion but use different words. It's kind of funny. Value bet fold. Okay.
it's one of the nicest things about talking to other people who actually do coach, though, is when you listen to the language they use, because the language they use is sometimes more effective than the language you use, and you can communicate it more effectively to your students when you hear someone else. Because it's not just playing. Like, playing's great. It's not even just understanding theory. It's how you get someone who doesn't understand the ideas to understand the ideas, right? Like, that's the trick. So
Yeah. You can tell it like that someone's had your coaching because they say bifurcate.
All right, brother. Good luck, man.
Believe me.
And
Okay.
yeah,
Cool, man.
Good luck, and I'll see you. I'll probably speak to you tonight or tomorrow or something. We'll speak soon. But
Yeah.
thanks, guys. I appreciate everybody who hung out with us, and you guys get Apestyles for the rest of the time. So have fun with him, and yeah, cheers, guys. Speak soon. Bye.
Doski says, how about having a capped range when checking the turn and the nut isn't presented? Is that a solver thing or a population thing or both? I think, okay, we are out of the Magnificent Seven, ironically, with sevens. 150. Last tournament up. Generally, like when people choose to check in like, especially on draw heavy boards, their ranges tend to be more capped. The spots where they tend to be less capped, though, was actually like on paired boards, since boats have no reason to protect her. We're approaching the money in this. I think I'm just gonna fold. I'm gonna try to play with a little bit more caution because we're 6 from the money. That being said, like, well, I take it back. I mean, I guess I'm just not gonna put that much caution. Thought that looked really strong. If do you ever get frustrated if the bubble lasts super long? Has it ever made you play different if it's taking a long time? Yeah, I mean, like, I think I kind of have an impatient nature, and like, I actually stopped playing satellites because I hated that feeling of like the agonizing slowness of waiting for people to bust out. I just realized it wasn't for me. It wasn't conducive like of my best game, and I just didn't enjoy it as much. There's plenty of money to be made, but any game that makes where it's completely correct to fold aces, is that really the game I want to play? What? Maybe 8-9 of hearts is definitely there. Oh, sorry. I just was like, what ace of hearts can you even have? Made a bad call there. But he was in the big blind. I would have expected a reshove pre-flop with that hand. Yeah, but just sit somewhere and keep reminding yourself to pay attention to two things: your breath and your posture. This pay jump is insignificant, so I'm not really sweating it. I think they're probably thinking about it. And a bounty. Oh, Busto. And we're out. Final tally is, and I did make a bad hero call. My apologies to anyone that wanted to stick around a little bit longer. I had fun here, though, working with Jordan. And I'm 2-0 now. So, am I like the reigning champ? Winner. I like that. Winner above the name. Hey, everybody, I appreciate all the primates and BBZ fans out here sweating and having a good time. I'll be back on Friday. It's a little bit sad that $300 in cash has won this, but I'll take it. Anyway, everybody, appreciate you.